Hi, Monica.
Hey, Amanda.
It's none of our business. 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 It's none of our business.
So, I gotta tell you something.
Is it about me?
Yeah, I'm breaking up with you.
Fuck.
Do you have any weird fetishes?
You mean do I like feet
Yeah.
or... I don't...
Socks.
No.
Okay.
Do you?
My friend was recently selling some shoes, like high heel shoes on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
And for $5, only $5 for these shoes. So this guy reaches out to her, wants to buy them. He's going to come pick them up. In the message, he goes, okay, I'll come get them, whatever. If you have any used socks you'd like to sell, I'll buy those off of you as well, with a smiley face. She immediately blocked him. I don't know if she even ended up selling him the shoes.
I was going to say, did she sell him the shoes?
I'm assuming not if she blocked him right away. And I'm thinking...
Would that bother you that much?
That's what I'm wondering what you have to say to that.
Okay. So if I was selling $5 shoes, which I wouldn't sell my $5 shoes,
I would either give them away or...
I give away everything on
do I.
Kijiji. I've given away thousands of dollars worth of stuff just because I want it gone and I want it gone now.
That's a whole different conversation I think we should talk about because I agree with that.
But if I was selling my $5 shoes, and you know what I would do if someone said, smiley face, would you sell me your socks? I'd say, would you like me to throw in my panties?
Because you would think it was a joke.
No, I wouldn't think it was a joke, but it would just be like a ha. I wouldn't really throw in my panties, but and you know what? If he wants to pay me $5 for my socks,
I wonder what
pair,
he would pay for the socks.
right? I think maybe he's really actually more interested in the socks than the shoes.
Yeah, I would likely agree with you.
So, I don't understand it. There's some weird fetishes out there, Amanda. I think one of the weirdest ones I've heard of is when people want to dress up as babies, a grown man wants to be in put in diapers or whatever.
So I bet you that stems from just having or not feeling it could go two ways. It could be you had a childhood where you didn't get affection and you're craving it, or you got a lot of affection from your mom and you love the way that she took care of you.
I don't know,
and
but
somehow you connected that to sexual.
But fetishes are always sexual, right?
Yeah.
So there's got to be something there. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't understand fetishes.
They all stem from somewhere.
They do. And or men who want to dress in women's clothing. That's another fetish.
Yeah.
And I was listening to a podcast the other day, and there was a man on there talking about how basically sometimes women are yeah, I'm okay with it. And then eventually he just gets dumped because they're I can't handle this, that you want that. And I'm I wouldn't want to be with a man who that. To me, it just seems awful. But can you imagine being somebody who has this feeling, who can't tell anybody because you have so much shame
100% wrapped around
the way that you perceive the world, or you feel it. And I'm just I can't.
Where does it? Okay, let's think about where this used sock one would come from.
Okay,
so this person really likes to get off from
it has a used sock smell bad.
Smell. So it would be the first time they jerked off. Maybe they were around all their dirty laundry, so the smell of socks.
Or some woman was the first time they had sex, she had her dirty feet in his face.
Yeah.
Or
so he just has positive memories.
It has to do with being bad or something, and feeling aroused by bad behavior, right?
This just reminded me. Karsten and I were watching this show a couple days ago on Netflix called Kingdom. It's like an MMA show. It's actually a really good show. I really liked it. But anyway, so at this one point, this guy he's on parole. His parole officer came in, found out he was like fighting in this gym instead of doing what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
But the parole officer has this fetish where he really likes like sweat and like salty, stinky things. So in order to like get away with whatever he was doing for his parole officer, the next scene you see him with the soaking wet shirt of the fighter guy running out to his car, and it was like a dripping soaking wet shirt, and he's like unbuckling his pants as he's running to his car, and he's got this sweaty shirt in his hand, and then it cuts to him with like the shirt over his face, like the sweaty shirt, and he's jerking off in his car. Like he couldn't even wait till he like got home, whatever. Like he was like in his car and like about sweat. Like where does that one come from?
I don't know. We need a psychologist on. Yeah. You know what? I don't mind this wine at all. How much did you pay for this bottle of wine?
Oh, it was probably only $11 or something.
What? You know what? I just bought you a bottle of wine, and I'm going to tell you now it was not $11 because it's like one of my favorites. So you're going to have to let me know what you think of it. It's more like a $25 bottle of wine. Okay. And I'm not just saying that to tell you how much I think you're worth, because it was really the only kind that I had in my cupboard. That's why I got
Are you the kind of person, though, because I think you are, that you think wine and price are related.
Yeah.
I think that I've proven to you now twice.
Yeah, that it's not bad, but it's different.
Like I could have lied to you and told you this was
$20 and I would have believed you. Okay, so and we're getting off topic, but the most expensive bottle of wine that I've ever had was $200. And this wine was called Sesakaya. And it was so fucking good that like the first sip, I was sad because I was getting that much closer to the end of the bottle. Like I'm like, oh my God, like I did this. Oh my God. Every time I drank it. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know if I'll ever be able to drink. I mean, what is it, like $1 a sip? Like more than that.
If somebody else is paying, but like it just, I wouldn't consider myself a cheap person, but I'm cheap about certain things. Like it's
wine
weird.
Is one of them.
Yeah. I don't know why. Like maybe because I know I'll drink it so fast. It's like,
no, fair.
Like I'm going to drink $200 in like an hour.
The trick though is like if you like expensive wine, the first bottle will be expensive and the second bottle is cheap, because by the time the second bottle opens up or second box, you're drunk.
Oh yeah. That's like kind of what we were talking about, like in the being cheap thing and selling things. Like I have some friends who literally will sell everything, for $5 or whatever, just to like get it out of their house. Whereas what I do is I want it out of my house, I will just give it away.
Yeah.
So what is your opinion on that? You're the same as me then?
So you know that I recently just moved, right? So I moved from Calgary to Airdrie, and you know what the problem with selling stuff is, it takes time. So you say, I'm going to sell this pair of shoes for $5, and then someone comes back to you and says, they look at it and like, it's only worth $3.
Yeah.
Like, no. Like, I just want to put it outside, and you're going to come and get it. And I gave away my treadmill. I gave away bookcases.
That's a sore spot for me, by the way.
I know.
I was in the market for a treadmill, and this bitch gives hers away.
I gave away tires. Like, I gave away like my entire basement full of stuff. Like, and Christmas trees, like anything that like, do I want to put it in a stand and light it up and put it on Kijiji for $10? Or do I want to say, come and get this damn thing and it's gone?
I know. We are very similar, especially when it comes to kids stuff. Like it's clothes. Like I will never sell clothes, but I just pack up the kids' clothes and give it to my friends with kids a little bit younger than, and then when it comes to kids stuff, like toys, I could very well list it. I have lots of friends that do. You list it, you get a decent amount of money. My one friend says that she pretty much nets, like breaks even on buying her kid toys because she just sells them. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, I feel like, and when it comes to like karma and stuff, I'm like, giving things to people who need them. Like, I could get, like, there's this clock thing. It's like an alarm clock thing for kids. They're like $60. I bought one brand new, and it's supposed to teach your kid to stay in bed longer. Essentially, they're not allowed to wake up until the sun comes up thing.
Yeah.
So I used it for Colton for years. Just the other day, we don't use it anymore. So I reached out to a friend. I said, do you need this? She goes, yeah, I was actually looking to go get one. Like this week, this sleep coach told me I should get one. I said, perfect. Here, you have mine.
Did she say, how much can I?
Well, she goes, I'll pay you for it. And I was
Yeah.
like, no, like you're
Yeah.
like, I don't, what, like I could, what,
I'm the same
$25
way.
I could
I'm the
take.
same way.
I'm like, I'm going to make you pay me $25 when literally, like, I don't know. And
But
like,
maybe it's because we both work.
yeah.
Does she work?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
My friends who sell things work too. It's just
Oh.
like there's people who do, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just like, even we redid our basement recently. We ripped out all this carpet.
Yeah.
I just gave it to my girlfriend. She
Yeah.
put it in her living room. Like we probably could have sold that. We had a trampoline in the basement for the kids. Gave that to our friends. Then they came over and brought us a shit ton of booze, so they pretty much paid us for it. But
Yeah.
like we gave away Colton's car bed. Like we give away big items
Yeah, I
because
do
I just
too.
don't
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
to deal with it. And I just
Yeah.
feel like somewhere along the line, the car, like it's gonna pay off. Like being a good person.
I don't know if it is or not, but
Your life turned out like shit.
I think that there's this type of people like me and you who just give away our stuff,
Yeah.
and there's the type of people who just sell all their stuff.
I've sold stuff before, like back when I was on mat leave, and Colton would outgrow toys or whatever.
If you got time.
It's not fucking worth it, man. By the time you take all the pictures, make the listing to get like, I don't know, a little bit of money. It's just not, I have so many other things I'd rather do. I'd rather pack it up and just give it to people who need it.
I agree. I'm totally with you. I'm drinking this wine and I'm thinking about something that happened to me last weekend. So last weekend we had a bunch of people over for drinks.
A bunch of people, it's COVID, right?
Okay, 2 other couples over. 2.5 couples over.
They're your
Anyways,
cohort, I get it.
yeah. And so this couple that we don't normally invite came over and they wouldn't leave.
Oh.
Do you ever had that happen?
I have. Tell me more about how it all went down.
Okay.
So did you guys feed them? Was it dinner or was it
Yes.
just drinks?
We
Okay.
fed them and we drank them.
Okay.
So provided all.
Oh, they didn't even bring a bottle or anything.
They did.
Yeah, but then they
Yeah,
stayed so long it got to
Yeah.
the point you had to.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
fair
yeah.
enough. Yeah.
So it's like 2:30 in the morning.
Holy moly.
And she's fallen asleep on the couch and he's still ranting about whatever he's talking about.
Okay.
And I'm like, what do you like? Sometimes if I don't know them very well, because if somebody that I know well, I'd be like, okay, get the fuck. I would, and I have, get
You're
the
like,
fuck
I'm
out.
tired.
Get the fuck out. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
And
So where was Greg in this? Was he?
he's there
was talking?
he's talking to the guy.
So was it an engaging conversation? Or was he talking at you, or were you guys all talking
Well,
together?
it's like total drunk conversation at this point. So 2:30 in the morning, and it's like,
Yeah.
and you're talking about the same thing over and over, and it's the politics, and it's
Gotcha.
stuff that is giving me a headache. And so not only that, there's somebody else there who's a neighbor of mine who I like quite well, and
Yeah.
she's also there,
Okay.
who I can say get the fuck out, but she's still there.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Because it was like one of those nights. She's like, well, why should I leave?
Yeah.
I'm drinking too.
Yeah.
Everybody's still up.
Yeah. So what do you have an exit strategy?
I'll tell you.
Okay.
I don't. Because I'm usually caught in one of those situations.
You were that person who won't leave my house?
No. Well, maybe. But if I'm not the one who won't leave, I'm thinking in my head, I need to end this. We need to get out of here. It's fucking late, but I don't know how to get out because I talk so much, especially if I'm drinking. I will get myself in these conversations, and that's why I get so hungover, is because I stay up so fucking late talking to the neighbors.
Do you even know what you're saying? Like,
No, because in the morning you're like, what the hell was that even conversation about? It's just a complete waste of time. Karsten is so good.
Yeah.
He'll be like, I'm going to bed. Like, this is stupid. And he'll just leave. And we used to have parties at our house all the time, and he would just leave me and he would go to bed. And now, like, we don't do it as much because we have, like, the kids sleeping and stuff. But it's the same thing with not knowing when to not open another bottle of wine. I don't know when to end the night sometimes because that's just who I am as a person.
and maybe, like,
and I always regret it.
like, but if you were if you were a guest in somebody's home,
You should read the room, and
you should be like, like, I don't know.
you
Like,
definitely should.
I think that I am a lot more cognizant of other people's body language.
Right. So you
right?
can tell when people are like,
So it's like they're not offering you anything else to drink.
Yeah.
Or the booze is all gone. Or
I think that person was probably just like past the point of no return though.
Yeah,
right? Like,
you're probably right.
like wife's asleep on the couch. Like he was probably just like he probably woke up and was like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
I
I'm sure.
overstayed my welcome there. Like
Well,
that's
I don't know, or just wow, we were really drunk, and
Yeah.
you know, I don't think we heard from them for like 5 days, and it was like, oh my god, I'm still hungover. Like it was that kind of a thing.
yeah. It's definitely I don't know. You kind of just need to be like, so are you guys calling a cab or like you know?
Yeah.
It's always very uncomfortable when those situations happen for sure.
Maybe the key is just to keep up the drinking, because at that point I tapered off. And do you know what I mean? Like had I
Yeah,
kept,
but good for you for being able to stop. That shows that you're good.
but it was whiskey, not wine. If it was wine, I would have.
Maybe that's my issue. It's because I always drink wine. That's why.
Oh yeah, and then like, but it hurts so much. Like days. It hurts for days now.
know.
That wine.
And then I tell myself, I'm like, you're not drinking this month. And then the Friday comes. I'll
this
not,
month.
Well, I'm like, you got to go a month without drinking. Just do it. And then,
Yeah.
you know, Friday night comes and
Why-
Carson's like, let's
why?
make a cocktail. I'm
Why
like,
would you go a month without drinking?
to prove that I can? Like, I had to do it last January just to prove that I could because I was worried that I was drinking too much. Like,
And so are you considering yourself an alcoholic? Like, what's your deal?
no, I think I definitely have, not control issues. Like, what is it? Like, over not knowing when to stop.
Well, that's only after you open that I think we all
Yeah.
do. Like, it's
No, because there's people that know how to stop.
yeah, but drinking lowers your inhibitions.
Yeah.
You're not
Oh.
hopping on people's laps. Well, never mind. Like,
I'm making
it does.
people get on my back.
It does. I said laps. So it does lower your sexual inhibition too. Like,
Oh.
yeah, look good to me right now. You're hot.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know. Drinking is fun. Okay, so for the what the fuck segment,
Yeah.
I got a good one. I think it's good.
Okay.
Let's see here. Okay. So this guy writes in, he says, I'm a father of 2. I work and I'm in a PhD program, but my wife is making it difficult. She's a fantastic person, but she's a busy on purpose type and absolutely refuses to give me any time to finish my dissertation. For example, she'll make an elaborate meal and then she's too exhausted to clean up. She'll take a full-on bath with the kids every single night. She plans extravagant weekend activities like planting raspberry bushes, but then she gets overwhelmed and needs my help. Our baby's first birthday party went from just lunch and a cake with grandma to an all-day party with pot stickers, pancakes, all of her siblings, plus their partners. I have a splitting headache several times a week because I end up working late and into the night after dealing with her time vampirism all day long. I've tried to talk to her, but she gets really upset because she's doing it for the kids. The kids are really happy, but it's just too much. I've offered to drop out of my program because I'm making great money, and she hates that idea. I feel like I have no choice but to quit school against her wishes or file for divorce. I think I'm only asking because I'm afraid those ideas are my only options. Do you have any ideas?
Oh,
So what do you think?
boundaries. Like, he doesn't have any boundaries set.
No.
You know, like, he is somebody who is a people pleaser.
Yeah.
Like, and I can relate to that because I'm a bit of
Yeah.
a people pleaser myself. So until you know, something that I learned not that long ago actually was if you don't let people know your boundaries, people will just walk all over them. And being nice is actually a disservice to yourself. So when you think that you're just this is why we do it. We think that we're this kind, amazing person and everybody is going to love us. And you just go ahead and my needs don't matter. So we'll just go ahead and do what you need. And he's with her because of that, because he can fulfill that in her. She is somebody who demands and he is someone who says yes.
So what do you think is going on in her head? Because I'll tell you what I think.
I think that she's a little bit unaware.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think that she is so used to getting everything that she needs from him. He will, like, you want to plant raspberry bushes? He'll go, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. Will that make you happy? I will do that. And then she'll say things like, I'm so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And then he will say, what can I do? He's the type of person who I've got this.
Yeah.
I can do everything. I can go to school. I can go to work. I can take care of the kids. I can take care of you. I got this. And he's fucking drowning.
Yeah.
That's
And
what's going on.
I think she expects it because
Yes.
she doesn't understand how much he's drowning. So I'm going to say I see it from her point of view. Not that okay,
Yeah.
this is, hear me out.
Yeah.
Because when you're home with kids all day
Yep.
and you don't work and all you have is the kids, that's your identity and that's what you're doing. And you get so wrapped up in your little bubble of, well, we need raspberry bushes. And of course we're going to have a party. And of course I'm going to have a bath with the kids. Like this is my family. And then she gets herself in way too deep and she's like, well, my husband will help. That's what he's there for. Like, we're a family and we do this together. He's their dad. I'm their mom. We're one family. She's not thinking of all the extra shit that he's got on his plate. She just needs help with her stuff.
Yeah.
And I've kind of fallen into that sometimes, like when I plan similar type stuff with the kids and stuff. And I'm like, well, of course Kirsten will help me. Not realizing he's running a business. He's doing all his shit too. And he's like, I'm like trying to do all this stuff. Like, I can't also do your work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like they've set up their family as she does the kid stuff and he's doing this. And then the other part of it is she probably wants him to finish his PhD. She wants him to be that successful doctor or whatever it is that he's doing. Plus, he makes good money doing whatever it is he is doing now. So she's secure with her life that he's providing for her. And she just wants everything.
She does want it.
And I bet you she doesn't really understand how needy and like actually shitty she's being.
Well, she doesn't, but like I said, I think that there's a pattern and that's codependency 101.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you have this needy person, the wife, and she just seems like she's needy because she's got to know that her husband is working late through the night and has headaches and she's not doing anything to help him.
Yeah.
She's just saying, what about me?
Yeah. I'm
Right?
tired too.
I'm
You try
tired
being home with the
too.
kids all day.
Exactly. You know how hard it is to have bubble baths, and I'm minimizing it because
Yeah.
I know how much work it is to look after little kids. I've done
Yeah.
it. I've been a stay-home mom, and you want to fucking gouge
You
your
want
eyes
help,
out.
and that's why I feel a little bit of sympathy for her because I did I was home with my kids when I
Yeah.
was on mat leave and stuff. I remember just staring at the clock, waiting for Kirsten to come
Yeah.
home. And I didn't really give a fuck that he was tired. I
No,
just needed
I
help.
agree.
Do you know what I mean? And like, that's actually really shitty.
But so then there's a job. So you're waiting for your husband to come home, but he's also trying to get his PhD.
Which is going to make your life better in the long run. So you need to make sacrifices.
So he needs to actually lay it out for her and say, look, I love you, but if you want me to finish my PhD, I need
time.
3 hours uninterrupted every day. And
Yeah.
if I can't get that, if you cannot give that to me, if that is not something that we can work on, I'm going to have to drop it.
Yeah.
Like, because my plate is way too full. I'm running at 99% capacity.
Yeah.
And you know what? I really think that that's going to be difficult for him because he's writing in to a forum to say, what do I do? He's not somebody who knows how to put his boundaries out.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, I can relate. I'm not very good with my own boundaries either. I think that I'm getting better. In my previous relationship, I had zero boundaries.
Yeah.
Like, you want to walk over my boundary? I'll just, whatever you need, I'll be there to help you. And he's getting something out of that. He's getting something out of that because you fulfill somebody else's need and you feel that endorphin rush.
It
or
feels
dope.
good to be the
It
provider, the
feels
supporter.
good to be able to help somebody.
Yeah.
And codependent people in that role fall into that, and you fall in love with somebody who can fulfill that for you.
Do you think that people who like somebody like him, do you think he sought out maybe
Yes.
intentionally or unintentionally
Yes,
a partner?
absolutely.
Yeah. Like, so you look for somebody that you can take care of.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes, and I recently had a conversation with another woman, and we had the same type of child rearing. So my mother was, a narcissist, very demanding, and who you are as a child, as a person, means nothing. The only thing that that a parent like that cares about is how you can make them happy. So whether that means you say the right things to them, or you cater to them, right? And so then you learn that as a child, that the only way to make somebody happy is to do this thing where I will make you happy. And subconsciously you look for that in your next relationship, right? So that's often what happens is, somebody like me, somebody like the woman I was talking to, and maybe this guy, you look for that codependent relationship to fulfill that need of you feel good when you can.
You try to replicate what you had as a child because that's like comfort.
Yeah. It's really interesting, and it's a pattern that it's just a fucking pattern.
Yeah. So what do you think her thing is? She likes to be taken care of, the wife. So she had that, as a child.
Yeah.
So tell me about her childhood. What was her childhood
I'm
like?
thinking that she was the princess, like daddy's little girl.
Yeah.
You are amazing. Oh, I'll do that for you. Like, don't worry about it, honey.
Yeah,
That's the way it is. And then you sort of put yourself into helpless mode.
Yeah. It's so hard because I'm thinking about now, okay, when I'm raising my kids, how do you find that limit of how much you do for them? I don't want my kids to turn into princesses. Do you know what I mean?
Well, don't you find that your kids ask for shit? Like, do you know what I mean? They ask for a certain level of independence. Like, I know when Johnny was 9 years old, he said to me, I don't want you to put me to bed anymore. I want to do it myself. I want to go to bed by myself, not when you say. And I said, well, you're not going to be able to do that. You're going to wake up and you're not going to be able to go to school. And he's like, and I said, okay, but we'll give it a go. First day that you can't wake up on your own, like when I say, Johnny, wake up, it's over. And I decide your bedtime. And he said, okay. And he never did. He always got out of bed because he wanted his independence. Wow. So when your kid asks for independence, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. But they generally will ask it. And I think, God, it was so interesting. I was watching this show on child development on Netflix the other day. And in Japan, at 3 years old, you send your kid for their first errand, it was called. And I was baffled. So this 3-year-old who lived in an apartment, he had to go pick up an order of sushi down at the deli, which was like 3 blocks away. So he's seen this kid in Japan, 3 years old, crossing the road, opening a door, right? And
I actually love that.
And they said it was because it's very common in Japan, and they said it was because like it was their child. It was called the child's first errand, and it brought back a different child because it. And I'm thinking, what? 3 years old, crossing the road? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, we would never do that as North Americans.
There's this whole thing on that free range parenting. Like, Karsten and I had that whole conversation about it on my other. We keep referencing it. But, like I really like the idea of doing that to a certain extent. 3 is kind of young, but it's also, we're in a different culture. Like, if we see 3-year-olds out by themselves, we're kind of like, holy shit, where's your parents?
Yeah, I think it's even against the law to do it here.
But in Japan, if this is like a cultural thing that they do, then it's like, okay, this kid's just on their first errand and all the adults around probably look out for him or her or whatever, right? Like,
can you imagine?
Yeah.
Holy
shit. But now, like, we send our kids to the park and we're like, oh God, are we going to get police called on us? It's like, it's crazy.
I know, but giving your kids independence, like to be able to fail, you have to let your children fail. And I totally fucking believe that to my core is if your children don't know how to fail and how to do something, like if they fall down and there's nobody there, they're just gonna stand up.
Yeah.
But we don't do that to our kids anymore, and I think I'm wondering what are we doing?
Well, that's the thing, is I think a lot of people nowadays are very like dependent on their parents for everything, like as adults. Like, I follow a lot of people on Instagram, and like, there's a bunch of the younger 25, 26-year-olds are always talking about calling their mom for advice, and I'm like, what? Like, you're an adult. Like, there's no way I was calling my mom for advice.
Well, didn't you think your mother was stupid when you were 25, 26?
I don't know.
Like, not because your mother is stupid, just because you thought you knew everything.
Well, yeah. I don't know if I ever outgrew that.
Yeah, I think me neither.
I'm still that person who's just like, I'm like, you can't get through to me. I know everything.
So what is your independence level? Like, how old were you when you left home?
I was 17.
Wow, 17. Why did you leave home so early?
Because I had a boyfriend that I wanted to live with.
At 17?
Yeah. I think I was like fully... Yeah, like
Did
I was...
you graduate high school?
Yeah. I was young though, so I didn't turn 18 until like November after I graduated. I graduated at 17.
Wow.
So I was like living with him, and I lived outside of the city, and it was just, I was driving in all the time for work. And I think I started dating him when I was 17 or 18. So I for sure was not living, like I technically moved out when I was 18, but I was like sleeping over at his house all the time when I was 17.
So what was your relationship with your parents? Were they obviously you weren't the little princess where they were doting on you and let me do this for you and
no,
you know.
I have like specific, like I had a decent amount of freedom once I got my own car, right? So I would be able to drive into town, and like it was like the guy's name was Kyle, my ex-boyfriend, but before we were dating, we were just good friends. So it was like a group of us, we'd all just sit around his dingy apartment and smoke weed.
How old was he in an apartment?
He was, well, his whole story is a lot different. He was only a year, maybe 2. I can't even remember now. He's the one who was a Jehovah's Witness.
Oh, nice.
And his family was like, you don't want to be a Jehovah's Witness anymore. Get the fuck out. Like he was so he was on his own. Like I want to say on the streets, but not really. He slept on people's couches from the age of 17 to whenever. And like he eventually got his own place, and it was like, cause he kind of reminds me of your ex. Like I did a lot for him, and I felt like I had to take care of him, and cause I'm like that person. So I remember sitting at my job at McDonald's looking through the want ads for like houses for him, and like ones that would accept somebody so young and stuff. So we'd get him these apartments, and I would just sleep over there all the time. And then eventually we started dating, and then
So what were you getting out of that relationship? Were you getting out of the whole I will take care of you and like you know what I'm just talking about right now? This
it must have been.
But then why did you leave that relationship?
Because I met Kirsten. We could get into this whole story.
But why? Like what was the difference? We don't have to do the whole thing, but what was the difference between, because it sounds like this guy has been rejected from his family, blah, blah, blah. And I know you're an organizer.
Yeah.
You are someone who's like, you are like that focused person. So
I must have got something out of it. It's hard to say because I was so young too, right? Yeah. So like if I was dating him now, it would be totally different because, you know, I would have more of an idea of like what I was doing it
and
for.
And who you are.
I think part of it was I didn't have a lot of like boys who were interested in me when I was younger anyways. Like I had other
but you're so pretty.
I'm so pretty. It's the personality that brings them in. So he was like one of the first, not one of, but he was like somebody who was paying attention to me. I was like, okay. Like I didn't really like him at first. Like we were like just friends, and I was like, whatever, it's Kyle. I don't care. Yeah. And then he just liked me so much, and he just kind of wore me down. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I guess, you know, this is the relationship I'm in now.
This is what we're supposed to be doing.
You know, and then I just kind of like fell in love with him because we talked about marriage and everything. And I thought I was going to marry this guy like at the age of 20, 21. And I remember talking to one of my bosses. I worked at Payless Shoes, and she goes, there's no way you're going to marry him. Like, I can tell you that right now. Like, she just knew, looking like he's a fucking loser. Like, he's alcoholic, smoke pot. Like, he literally was becoming an alcoholic right when I left him. Like, he would, every day after work, he'd pick up a Mickey of vodka and a 12-pack of beer, and he would drink it every single day. Like, it was getting bad. But yeah, so then eventually I just went through the motions, and he was like a hermit, always stayed home. And you know me, I'm outgoing and I'm always out and about. And this is at the age of 20.
So you were getting frustrated. Obviously.
Yeah, I was 20 years old. I wanted to go out all the time. He always wanted to stay home. And then it got to like, we had collections calling our house all the time, and I always had to like not answer or like lie that he wasn't home, you know. And like, this is the person I thought I was gonna marry. Like really, like look, my parents must have been like, holy fuck. But
did you have a moment of like, what the fuck am I doing? Did you have a moment like that?
I don't think I did. I don't know. It was so long ago now.
So what happened then? So like, how does Karsten come into this?
Well, so Kyle got a job at this place, and he was like, me and some coworkers are going to go out for wings. And I was like, what? You're leaving the house? Like, you're going out somewhere? Because it would be seriously on the weekends. I would get dressed up, go out with my friends, and he would stay home. Like, and either have people over, like his like weird friends, like, or stay home by himself and like have a bath. Like, he was just a weird fucking guy. Like, I think he had some
obviously had some, like, he was rejected from his mom. Like, we can get into that another time.
We absolutely should. He is fucked. So and he was a victim too. Like, he always played the victim. Like, he had that whole thing. But anyway, so I'm like, holy fuck, you want to go out like on a Monday night? Like, oh my God, did my hair, put on heels. Like, we were going out. It was just to like a pub for wings. So we go, and we're sitting on the patio, and there's a bunch of us, maybe like 6 or 8 or something. And Karsten happened to be one of the guys like that was friends with the guy Kyle worked with.
Okay.
So he comes in, and me and Kyle are at different ends of the table. And Karsten sits down. We start chatting because I'm just like a chatty person. Karsten had no idea I was even dating Kyle because we were nowhere near each other.
Yeah.
So he sees me, falls in love immediately. And then we at the end of the night, it was kind of like, okay, we've all.
Was there a connection? Did you have like a spark? Like what was it?
Not for me. I will connect with a fucking wall. Literally, I can find a connection.
That's why you love me so
That's
much?
why I love you.
Yeah.
That's the thing about me is I can find a connection with literally anybody I'm having a conversation with. So to me, it was just a conversation. I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, this guy is fun to talk to. I was like shooting the shit with him, whatever. We just had a good conversation. So then we were leaving the bar. We lived in an apartment across the street from the bar. We're like, why doesn't everybody come over to my house after like our house? We'll just like, have more drinks because it's Monday night and we're 20. Like we didn't care about work the next day. So everybody comes over. Kyle and his coworker are playing guitar in the house. Me and Karsten end up on the balcony and we're just chatting again. Because Karsten at that point is like, holy fuck, your house? Like you guys are dating? He's like so confused at this point.
Yeah.
But he's like, whatever, like this chick is awesome. So we go back to our house. But then the next day at work, I just was like, this is back before phones were even like a thing.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I was
yeah.
in my purse in my desk and I hear it go off. I was like, what? Like you didn't keep your phone out because nobody called at that time.
Was it like a razor flip or something?
It was he had a razor flip.
Okay.
I don't know. I had this
You
weird
had the
bubble phone.
Nokia or something.
So I get a text message and it's like from him.
It was a text message?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was like, just like, how's it going? And like, we just started kind of like chatting, and I'm like, oh, right then I'm like, this guy likes me, but whatever. Like I'll humor him because getting attention is fun, right?
Yeah,
this. We've talked about this lots of times.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I didn't care. But then over the summer progressed and, we started hanging out all the time and they'd be like, we're going out. Like, are you coming? Kyle would be like, no, I'll stay home. One thing led to another and me and Kyle, me and Karsten are together now.
What the hell? My phone keeps going off.
You're so popular. Turn your ringer
Well,
off.
it's because I'm so pretty.
Yeah, so that's
a thing.
yeah. That's my story. I don't even know how we got into that. You guys want to know the history?
It's always good to know, but like it's interesting to know. Like we're talking about codependency and how
I think I did. Like if I hadn't have met Karsten, I probably would have been with Kyle a lot longer. I had no plans to leave him. Like it's not like I was unhappy. Like I didn't really know what I was doing.
Do you remember how you ended it?
Yeah. Not really. Like I cheated on Kyle.
Yeah.
But in my head, I was like, we can still be together. Like I thought I was still going to be with Kyle. And then like I was so used to him being around when I finally was like, I don't think we should do this anymore. I wanted him to move out into like a different apartment in the same building because I still wanted him near me. Like because we were like best friends in my brain. Like I didn't really realize, like I just didn't.
You're young.
I couldn't imagine him not being part of my life, right?
Yeah.
So it was fucked. Like it was stupid. And then he actually died.
Oh.
So that's a really fucked up shit. Like, so another fucked up. So like we didn't talk for years and years. Like this was 12 years ago now. Me and Karsten are married, have a couple kids at this point. I've seen him around on like Facebook and stuff, but we haven't really spent much time together. But in the back of my head, and I told Karsten this, I'm like, I kind of want to reach out to Kyle and just like maybe apologize to him because when it ended, I was a dick to him. I'm like, you're a fucking loser, piece of shit. Like I was just mean to him.
Yeah.
So I should reach out to him, blah, blah, blah. Karsten goes, yeah, you should. And then I just never really did. A couple months after I said that, I see on Facebook he's been diagnosed with leukemia and like literally died within, I want to say a month. Like,
so you never got to say goodbye.
I never got to say sorry. I never got to do anything. But then I reached out to some friends that still knew him kind of, and that like I still knew. So we went for a beer right after he died. And I was like, guys, like I feel fucked up about this. Like I really wish I would have reached out, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And they started telling me about who he was now and what kind of person he is. And I was like, nope, what would have happened? I would have met up with him. I still would have thought he was a loser. I probably would have gotten in a fight with him and it would have gone bad. I know it would have. Like,
so it's really interesting because as I hear you tell that story, I think, well, you know what? I would have just felt guilty because I would have thought if I would have stayed with him, I would have made him a better person. I would have made sure he wasn't.
He couldn't have been fixed.
No,
he was too far gone.
Well, the only person that could fix Kyle is Kyle,
Yeah.
you know, and I talk about that, the same situation as me, and I still have terrible guilt over my own X, where I still go, I could have fixed him. But honestly, the only person that can fix is the person themselves.
I know. And it's really shitty. Like, I ran into him actually downtown. I was working out, and he happened to be working in that You Thrive building where we work out.
Oh, really?
I was like working out, and I look up, and there he is. And I was like, holy fuck. Like, what the hell are you doing here? And like, turns out he was the maintenance guy of that building. So I saw him a couple times there. And I talked to him outside one time, like, oh my God, how you been? And I remember being like, holy shit, this guy looks bad. Like, his teeth were all fucked. Like, he looked like he had done, like, I don't think he was into
meth
like
or
drugs,
something?
but I think it was like alcohol and smoking cigar. Like, he was just like
He just looked like
wasn't taking
like a skid. Like, let's
exactly,
break it down,
exactly. And then, you know, maybe it was because he had health issues. Who knows? Like, because it wasn't long after that the diagnosis came through, and I feel shitty. Like, when people die, we always like build them up to be like, oh, they were such a great person.
I know.
He had a lot of good qualities. He was really fun and funny, but he also had a lot of dark shit in him. And he was on the downswing. And like I said, when I went for the drinks with our our friends or whatever, they were telling me who he was as a person. I'm like, he wasn't getting better. Like, he was actually bad. Like, he was super isolating himself. He was super fucked up in the head. Like, I'm like, I couldn't have fixed that. We could not have been friends. There's no possible way, because when we ran into each other outside of the gym, he didn't ask me how I was. He didn't do anything like that.
Oh.
All he did was go, I'm doing so great. Me and my girlfriend we're going to move to BC. I make so much money at this job. And I was just, because I have such guilt about feeling like such a dick to him, I was like, that's so great. Oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, in my head, I'm going, you don't fucking ask me if I'm good. Like, but probably because he knows I'm good. Like, he sees me on Facebook with like husband, two kids.
It seems to be like
he's trying to prove himself.
Yeah. It's just trying to prove who he is.
He's trying to prove that, like, I'm good. I didn't need you. Like, fuck, I'm doing awesome now. And I let him have it because
when you are really good, you don't have to say those things.
No.
Like, if you are living like your best life and you see someone you haven't seen in a while, you don't start spewing that shit.
Well, that's the thing. Like, and that's why I didn't feel the need to say anything, because I was like, I'm gonna let him have this, because it just made. It's
a little heartbreaking.
I know.
Right?
And I think about him probably at least once every 2 days. He pops into my head. Like, I wonder how his family's doing, all that shit, because like the whole situation is really.
So he died of leukemia?
Yeah.
Wow. And that was the like is leukemia like a disease? Like, that's blood
Cancer.
cells. Like, it's a cancer. Oh fuck! Like, heartbreaking.
I know.
How old was he when he died?
Maybe 35.
That's so young.
I know. Yeah.
It's tough.
And somebody I was that close, like, because we were good friends when we were like teenagers too, right? Before we started dating. Like, I was with him through all of his like family shit. I don't know. It's really shitty. Why are we talking about Thanks everybody for tuning in to the None of Our Business podcast with Monica and Amanda. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
Even your Alexa will play us if you ask her to.
Alexa, play None of Our Business podcast.
She'll fucking do it too. Tune in, we'll show you our boobs.
Yeah, if you subscribe, the first 100 subscribers will get to see our boobs.
It's none of our business. 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 It's none of our business.